Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to another transfer reaction show. And it's not really a transfer happened yet, but strong reports emerging that Lisandro Martinez is very, very close to joining Manchester United. And I don't like doing these kind of videos for Manchester United, to be honest, because it just takes so long. It's never an agreement, is it? I mean, we're still waiting on Christian Eriksen to be announced. Frenkie de Jong has been 90% close for like 2 months. So I don't like doing these kind of videos usually, but I will do this one because it's an interesting development that has happened. And Lisandro Martinez is apparently very close to joining Manchester United. A deal with Ajax was discussed today. I mean, I believe John Murter and some United execs, they were in Amsterdam to discuss this deal. And apparently there's been a breakthrough that has been made thanks to Erwin van der Sar, of course, only Manchester United as well. He's the Ajax CEO. And they've kind of discussed a deal that is likely to be accepted. So some final paperwork's being done according to Fabrizio Romano before we get the here we go. So that is where it is. The fee will be over 50 million euros. Ajax wanted 60 million, but that was always a ridiculous amount, and they've kind of negotiated a bit closer to 55 is what we're looking. So maybe between 50 and 55 million euros is going to be the final fee, we think. And of course, personal terms have been agreed with Lisandro Martinez. I don't think that was much of an issue anyway. To discuss personal terms, those are never a problem. So that's where we're at. So that 50 million euros. What's interesting, of course, is well, there's a few parts to the sale. Of course, number one was that Lisandro Martinez was also wanted by Arsenal, and he has rejected Arsenal. And I you know what? No disrespect to Arsenal here, but I think the reality is because Arsenal are not in the Champions League, whether you go to United, whether you go to Arsenal, that's like a similar move. The only question is, which one is more attractive, and the fact is United do pay more money. And also, Erik Ten Hag being at Manchester United means that it's definitely going to be a more attractive proposition for Lisandro Martinez. So that's where it's at with that deal. In terms of the deal with Ajax, now I do believe 50 million euros is way too high. That's way too high for Lisandro Martinez. I don't think he is worth more than 35 million euros. And 35 million euros for me was where I think that is his normal value. You probably look at 40 is probably the most that you want to pay is 40 million. So they're paying 10 million, 10, 15 million over what's required. And that's because of the delay in negotiations. That's because they've taken so long for Frenkie de Jong. They've been waiting for Frenkie de Jong. And therefore, the price just keeps going up. And that's been the issue. They've lost out on Urian Timber as well. Keep in mind, Urian Timber was actually number one target, and they haven't been able to get him. So therefore, they went for Lisandro Martinez. And it just, I mean, that's fine. Again, is Timber better than Martinez? Some would say he is. Martinez was, of course, their player of the season last year, so it's adds a weighing there. But the reality is that he is their second choice target as far as defensive reinforcements go. But they could have done this deal sooner. As with all the Manchester United deals, they could have done this one sooner. If they just moved in earlier, with regards to maybe in June or maybe even in May, they could have gone for Lisandro. If they really were interested, they could have got this deal done earlier. Probably could have got it done for 35 to 40 million euros. So they paid an extra 15 million just for the delay in doing this deal. But it is likely to happen. So that's what we're waiting for at the moment. Is still hopefully it happens quickly. In regards to where he plays, he's left-footed. He can play as a centre back, he can play as a left back, and he can play as a CDM. Wonder which of the Ajax player can do that. He's pretty much an Argentine Daily Blind. Some would say he is, because he's kind of he's not very tall. He's 5'10". He's very good on the ball. He's probably more faster though. Then he's got a lot of pace. They never had pace, but he's got pace, so he's got that, and he can play multiple positions. I mean, the interesting thing is where will he play, because he is left-footed, so therefore you can play as a left back. But then you've got Trell Malacia, so I don't think he's going to play as a left back. His natural position is as a centre back. The problem for United is they've already got Varane, Lindelof, Maguire as your three centre backs, and then you're going to add Lisandro Martinez. That's so you got four, and that's assuming that Tuanzebe and Phil Jones will be gotten rid of. They won't be here next season at the start of the season. So you've still got four. Are you paying 55 million euros for a backup centre back? I don't think you can do that. I don't think you're not in a position to do that. So he might start. If he starts, you're then choosing between Varane and Maguire. I mean, Lindelof assuming that he's not going to get a lot of games, but Varane and Maguire, you're kind of choosing between the two. And Maguire is the captain, so is he going to stay? I mean, he's got to start, right? So that I know Varane's got his fitness issues, so he will probably not play every game. But you still want as far as defenders are concerned, you always want a consistent partnership as far as possible. I think because of Varane's injury issues, it might very well turn out to be Maguire and Martinez might be the first choice partnership by force. But if Varane manages to stay fit, then you might have a choice to make. Do you go Varane and Martinez, or do you go Varane and Maguire? The other option, which I think might happen, is Martinez can play as a CDM. He can play as a defensive midfielder, and therefore they might play him as a defensive midfielder. I just have a feeling that might happen as well. I mean, you might just look at that and go, you know what? I've got Varane, I've got Maguire, so when I need to play Martinez, I'll play him as a CDM, because I don't think you can leave him out of the starting 11 for the price that they paid. So, and it might be a safer option as well, because given the fact that what we saw yesterday in the preseason, they need midfielders, United need midfielders urgently. So having, another body in midfield might just make sense to go, yeah, well, let's just play him in midfield and play him as a defensive midfielder. You solve that issue as well. When Varane and Maguire are fit, you play Martinez as a defensive midfielder. When Varane is unfit, or when you want to rest him, then you put him in defense. So I think he'll do a bit of rotation, front and back, and that's what will happen. And it's kind of the politically safe option, if I may use that word, just because then you keep Maguire happy, you keep Varane happy, and you're justifying investment in a player that you paid a lot of money for. To be honest, with the state of that midfield, the way it is, I think anybody's going to win an upgrade at this point. I mean, there was talk Lindelof could play CDM, Tuanzebe could play CDM. Those are the names that we were discussing, and the reason for that is because you could literally play anyone in CDM, and that would be an upgrade over what we have right now with McTominay and Fred. So I think that is where this whole situation is headed. But of course, there's still things to be done. There's still, it's not like we talked about the Chelsea deal yesterday with Koulibaly. Everything was like we're talking about tossing T's, starting I's, and today it's done, it's announced. That's not how United operate. I think tomorrow is when the deal will probably be agreed. They'll probably take another 3 days to do a medical, because remember, tomorrow's Thursday, and then we go into the weekend. So if they don't get the medical done on Friday, then you got Saturday, Sunday, nothing happens. So this could very well not be announced until next week. I'm hoping it will be announced tomorrow or day after, but with the pace that United work on these things, they might not get an official announcement until Monday or Tuesday. So we'll wait and see what happens. Certainly, it's certainly a good player. He's a good player. I think he's a Ten Hag player. Ten Hag wanted him, so that's good. So they're getting players that the manager wants. That's very good. So from that perspective, I think he's a good player. I think he's definitely someone who fits into the team. My only concern is, where does he play, and will he be shunted around to try to make room for the place? And this is why I feel Maguire shouldn't have been made captain. But anyway, I don't want to get into that right now. But where he will play is going to be interesting. But definitely a good player. He is overpriced though. I think that's another point to make it clear that he is overpriced. I don't think he's worth. I think they're definitely not worth more than 40 million. So they're overpaying for a player. But if he does well, then I guess nobody will talk about it. But that's a big if. So let me know in the comments. What do you think about Lisandro Martinez signing? Do you think that's is a good player to sign? Do you think he's overpriced, overrated? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. If there are any Ajax fans, do let us know what you think about the player. I know Ajax fans rate him pretty highly. So we'd love to hear your comments as well on that. Smash a like for Lisandro Martinez. Smash a like for Manchester United. Smash a like for Ajax as well. For being so good and cooperative on this deal as well. Smash a like for them as well. Love definitely would love that. And of course, remember to subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. We're going to do more content. We got one more video coming up today as well. So do subscribe. We are doing quite a few now. So if you subscribe, you get notified as they drop. So definitely do that. And of course, we always appreciate your support. So would definitely want you to do that. Thank you so much. Take care, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.